Hello everyone and welcome back to another super cool radio interview. I'm your host as always, Matthew Thomas. Thank you so much for tuning in on your favorite streaming platform. And before we dive into this interview, if everyone could do me a quick favor, remember to hit that like button and make sure to subscribe and turn on the notification bell. That way you do not miss any super cool content. My guests will be joining me in just a moment. They are a killer Florida-based hard rock band known as The Dev. I very much enjoy their music, especially their song Hellbent. We talk about what is coming up for The Dev, plus the music video for Hellbent. They share some really cool stories about their time as a band, plus visiting a strip club in New Orleans. All that and so much more in this interview. Let's go! Before we jump into the show, I want to tell you about our merch store on Threadless. Shop a wide variety of logos with multiple colors and sizes available for each design. Your support is greatly appreciated and helps us continue to make killer content like this episode. Please visit supercoolradio.threadless.com or the link in the description to shop now. I have some awesome guests joining me at this time. Please welcome a killer Florida-based hard rock band known as The Dev.
Hello.
Hey,
What's
how
up?
are you?
Hey.
Nice to have you guys on. I will introduce you guys real quick. Making up The Dev, we have Nikolai on lead vocals, Ryan on guitar, Barrett on guitar, John on bass, and Chris on drums.
Backwards.
Awesome. You got all the pointing correct as well, so we're off to a great start. All right, so before we jump into everything, I want to start off with, I think it's somewhat fun because I get to ask this question, but it's probably somewhat challenging from what people tell me. But we're going to start off with, what is the best concert you guys have performed at and the best concert you've personally been to?
You want to go first, right? I would say the best. I'm going to say Louder Than Life. That was probably our best, which was what? That was last September? Yeah. And the best concert I've been to personally is Kiss. So anything Kiss. So.
Nice.
My turn.
Yeah.
All right. Best one I've ever performed, I would say, I don't know if I want to say one of the festivals or one of the House of Blues shows. I'll say the last House of Blues show we played. That was pretty massive and fun. I had a great time with that one. And the best one I've went to would have to be the festival Louder Than Life. That was pretty badass.
My turn?
Yeah.
So I would say the best concert that we played so far would be the House of Blues show, mainly for just the aftermath of it all, like when we literally were a fire hazard to the whole entire upstairs because of our merch table and people taking pictures and stuff. And I was signing actual phones, like people were taking off phone cases, and I was taking a Sharpie and permanently signing their $1,000 iPhone. So that was a moment. And then I would say best concert would probably be Louder Than Life that we played, because I got to see Rob Zombie and I got to see Alice Cooper and Kiss like all back to back, which was like a really dope experience. But I am biased, and I will say that I believe the moment I see System of a Down in May in Las Vegas, that's going to be the best show ever because they're my favorite band, and it's very hard to catch them live.
Very nice, very nice.
So for me, I'm going to say the best that this band would be, for me, Welcome to Rockville in 21. I think that was my favorite. And then me personally, what I've seen, it's really tough because like I grew up going to a lot of shows. So I'm going to have to say it's a tie between three. Jane's Addiction. I saw Plant and Page play with each other when they were doing the walking in the Clarksdale thing. And then the Stones, like I saw them in the early 90s with my parents. And like at that time, I wasn't a huge Stones fan, but like, you know, you kind of because it was like my parents' music, but now I'm like way more into them. But then when I reflect on like the magnitude of that show at like an 80,000 plus, stadium, like it had to, it left such a huge impression on me. So.
The best show that I think that I've played so far in this band, I want to say, it's probably going to agree with Brian. Welcome to Rockville. That was awesome. Right when we started playing, the sun was going down. So it was that perfect where it was still light, but it was getting dark. And you had all the lights and everything on stage, and all the pictures that everybody took of it were great. And it was a really fun experience to be able to play at Daytona International Speedway and be there. And then the best concert I've ever seen, I'm going to have to say it's probably Taylor Swift. When she opened for the Bee Gees and Engelbert Humperdinck.
Tickets were $5,000 a piece.
Oh, boy.
That was awesome. No, I'm just kidding.
The imagination of John. There you go.
Actually, one of the best concerts I've ever seen live is Tool. So, and they're my favorite band.
Very nice. Have you seen Taylor Swift live?
No.
Thankfully, so no.
All very, very great shows listed and for performing and for seeing. And actually, it's funny you say Rob Zombie and Alice Cooper. They just announced their co-headlining tour. I'm seeing them in September coming up.
Nice.
Yeah, enjoy, man. That's gonna be
they're
a show.
similar enough. We're like, I'm surprised I haven't seen that lineup yet. So now that they're doing it, it's good.
For sure. I'm a huge Alice Cooper fan. I've seen him like 4 or 5 times. I've seen Zombie with Korn, and that was really cool. But that was like, I think 7 years ago, something like that. So that's the last time I saw him.
Our first concert ever, or our first show ever, we actually played with Bisto Blanco, which is Alice Cooper's bassist and his daughter. So it was kind of like a full circle to like come back like 3 years later, and we're now playing the same festival with Alice Cooper. And it was just like, whoa. It's like a full circle moment for sure.
Focus on you guys now. How did the Dev come together, and how did you come up with the band name?
Who wants to go with that one?
I was a series of trials and errors.
Yeah, for
The
sure.
gods had pit us. They'd given us a series of quests to go on, and it was to locate each other around the globe. Barrett started over in New Zealand. Nikolai started in Romania via Albania. Chris from Norway.
Just mute his mic.
Ryan was in South America.
Just mute his mic.
I originated in Cleveland, Ohio.
In all seriousness, though, Barrett has a white van. He went to just drove around town and found the weirdest looking people he could find and just abducted them.
Yeah.
And he chained us all to walls and stuff and made us practice our instruments. And, that's how we are today.
Actually, on a more serious note, I met them on a Craigslist, and this is actually
This
not
is
a
true.
lie.
That is
This
true.
is actually true. So it is funny. We have a lot of humor, and the thing is like with bands, there's a lot of personalities that like kind of have to like mix and be able to like mesh and get along with. So I really wanted to get into music, and I'm obviously the biggest newbie in this band, and because they're skilled and they've been doing it for years, I randomly like went on Craigslist, saw that they were looking for a singer, and then I bumped into Ryan and John first. And I think within like jamming like 2 or 3 times, we already had like Queen of the Damned like mostly written, and then slowly came in Chris, and then I actually stole Barrett from a band from a show that we did at House of Blues. So back to the whole full circle thing. It is kind of crazy when things are meant to fall into place. You'll notice yourself like a year or 2 later, you're like, oh my God, this was literally just happening, but like in a different field, or this was literally happening to somebody else, and I wish this upon myself, because everything just kind of fell into place. And the first show that I got to play alongside with Barrett, he wasn't in our band. And then the most recent show that we've done together, we were at House of Blues finally all together and perfectly meshed up. So it was a long way coming, and it was probably a lot of funny stories in between, but Craigslist, Facebook, and just word of mouth, basically.
Very nice. Definitely full circle with all of that too. And honestly, not the first band who I've said, we met on Craigslist that I've interviewed.
Yeah, I mean, and the thing is Orlando's kind of a really small music community where like people kind of all know each other to a degree because we've all played shows with each other. And so like it really was like a coming of, essentially 4 different, people, because John and I were like in a band prior, and then we were kind of jamming, and then everybody else, like we all just kind of kept getting together. And then once we all kind of got together, then like the Dev was really born, So it was like, we had some prior things going on and music, but then when you get in a room with 5 people, like every band's different, but we're very democratic. So like everybody here has their say as to like what their part is in the writing. And like, I don't think any musician ever wants to, unless you're a hired gun where you just show up and you just play what someone else is telling you to play. Hopefully you're making good money. But, like nobody wants to go in a room and either have their art disrespected or not have their voice heard. And so for us, it was a big deal to just get all 5 of us, on the same page and write stuff and put things down, because everybody here has a different influence, and the hardest part at the beginning was, and this is leading to answering your second question, is like what our name was going to be. Because the reality of the world is like, here we are in 2023, when we started, it was like 1920, and there's so many band names that have come and gone, right? And then you sit there and you go, well, if this is our band name, we sound like we're this style of music. And so we were trying to we didn't want to sound too heavy, too light, too pop, too rock. I mean, it was like, you go down the list and then you get to a name and you show up to practice and you're like, guys, like I have the name. And then it's like, you look at like the other 4 and like 2 of them, you can see the twinkle, and the other 2, they're just like, they're shitting on it. So it was really, really hard. And I'll let John finish how we got to the name, but yeah.
It was a name born of frustration. It was a name born out of, I'm so tired of us not being able to agree on a name. So I blurted out the first thing that came off the top of my head, and it just so happened to be the Dev. And then Nikolai asked, ooh, what does that mean? Can't repeat that, but because it was a very smart ass remark, that because I can be quite a smart ass and I think very quickly. So I just blurted out an acronym really quick. And she was like, oh, it can never mean that ever. But
we'll figure something
out. And that's when Ryan came up with Desired Evolutionary Vision as the acronym for it. And the rest is history. We're the Dev.
Yeah.
The rest is devolution.
It's the devolution.
For the fellow devoted.
That's pretty solid, actually. I like that.
Thank you.
Well, and that was the cool part about it is like we said the Dev, we figured out what it meant for us as a band and kind of something fun and interesting and cool. But then we were like, man, we can call our fans devoted. Like, so it had like a great, so it just worked.
It was interesting. And then the cool thing is like when we were even trying to find like acronyms, we like stumbled upon like the Dev meaning like God in like the Indian language.
Hindi.
There was a lot of in Hindi, yes. And then there was a lot of like, if you go on like Reddit or, any kind of online site, like to be a Dev is like a developer of like a game or a developer of a system or an art. So when we thought of it, we're like, okay, we're the devs of like our music, like we're the God, we create that shit, it's an evolutionary vision. And then, the devolution and then like the devoted. So it just, like I said prior,
it's never gone back to the original what like it really means. It's so perverse and dirty we don't. Yeah. We'll tell you off camera, but like we can't say
but we won't. No, we won't
say
ever know.
it. Yeah, we won't say it on camera.
I'm definitely looking forward to that.
Insiders.
Well, I thought you were gonna say you had to throw like darts at a board to pick out a name, so I'm glad you didn't have to do that.
No,
that would have been better of the story, to be honest. But
I actually said something else, but it was just the first half of it.
But no, then it was meant to be, because everything just fits so well together with the devoted, with the Dev coming up with the acronym for it. So I think it all worked out very well for you guys.
For sure.
Thank you. Yeah. Thanks.
And it's only 2 words, 6 letters total.
Yeah.
So easy to make merch for.
Prints really well.
That too.
Prints perfect across a t-shirt.
Yeah,
I mean,
not like a sentence long math rock band.
Right. Yeah. I mean, more power to you for being creative with your name, but my goodness, to make stickers and whatnot and keychains, it's tough.
It is.
Yeah, it's rough. That's right.
It definitely, and your name fits very nicely on a flyer and posters and all that stuff as well.
Yeah,
it totally does.
Yeah, for sure. But I did want to talk about, because my first introduction to you guys was the song "Hell Bent," which you guys filmed a very cool looking music video for it, and I'm curious because it looked like so much fun. How was it filming the music video for "Hell Bent"?
The cops came.
Yeah.
Wait, really?
No party. So like.
Yeah, the cops in that video are real. They're real cops trying to tell us to shut up.
Yeah, it's a real party. Everything you saw was real. And it was really cool because that music video, the bar was local. We know the owners, and the owner was really cool and supportive of our music. There was a lot of friends in the music video. I think there's like a scene where I have like my cat, like I'm kissing my cat in the pool, and like I'm pretty sure my uncle was like shit faced in one of like the short snippets of the music video. So everything that you saw was 100% legitimate. And the cops that I bent over and was like, those were real cops behind me, asked me to be quiet, but the party ended up lasting until 4:30 in the morning. So
Yeah. The party don't start, man.
No, don't stop.
That's when you tell them, yeah, it's all right, we'll turn it
Yeah.
down, then you put it up to 11.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the club that we were at, it was actually taken over 2 days. It was the first day we were at Mannequins.
Yes.
And where's that? Sanford,
Sanford,
yeah,
Florida.
yeah, and then
It's a very cool goth bar too.
Yeah.
So they were really into the whole concept of like a rock and roll metal music video being shot there. It was fun.
Yeah. I mean, the thing with us though is like, for me, music videos are kind of stressful. They're still fun, but so like for us as a band, we're very hands-on in the creative aspect. We don't let other people really kind of like do things for us. So like whether it comes to writing the music or like producing the music, or like even with the music videos, all 5 of us go, whoa, whoa, whoa. Like we have all these ideas. So it's kind of a process of like, all right, take the ideas, let's streamline them, let's put them together, let's figure out kind of where we want to shape it and make it and move it. And so, I mean, the cool thing about that is like when you see something that comes from the dev, like you're not getting like a music video that another person like directed and wrote for the band to put out. This is like we sat there and came up with the ideas and really cut the scenes and like figured out what we wanted. So that it's fun, but at the same time too, I'm sure in all of us there's a little bit of that anxiety going, oh my God, are we gonna like, can we do this? Is it gonna be terrible? Are we gonna ruin it? Are we geniuses? Like, what is it, that we're gonna get as the product? So for me personally, there's a little bit of an anxiety, like the night before video shoots, and we've done like 4 or 5 now.
Yeah.
Like I don't sleep. Like I'm like, oh my God, do we have batteries? Do we have lights? Are the extras ready? Like, is there food? And it's kind of like, there's a lot of that going on. So it is fun. And it definitely like, when you get to see it and relay it to us, like that you enjoyed it, like that's the reward that we get, is when people, in the vision of because essentially, we wrote that song coming off the road during kind of like hard times of COVID. And we wanted it to be like a kind of like a call to people to get back to live their lives and have a good time and go to parties and enjoy it. And like, so that was, the music video, obviously the idea was like have a Suicide Girls kind of like gothic nighttime party. And I'm pretty sure we accomplished that, but like, and it was just, so it meant a lot to us. And for us, like I said, because we are so hands-on with all like avenues and of what we do with our art, it can take a while and be a process, but hopefully, the fan and people who get to enjoy it, they're truly genuinely getting something from us,
Mm-hmm.
Well, for sure. And I know it is a lot more work on you guys you have to develop and come up with everything, but at the same time, I think it's more rewarding to see the final product and to also get the feedback from people who enjoyed the song as well.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah, for sure.
For
Except
sure.
for they were like, you cannot put us in the video. You have to blur us out and turn your fucking music down. So, other than that, we didn't disturb the peace too much.
No.
So the next video will be a little bit, it's a little bit more spicier,
A little bit more sexy.
a little bit sexier. So
Definitely looking forward to that. Well, are the cops going to show up for that one too?
No.
We rented an Airbnb, so we kept it inside.
But
Probably
there
all
was
would've gotten arrested
there
for
was
sure.
like some really creepy, weird characters for sure coming in.
Oh,
That's
yeah.
that's just a hint.
Yeah.
You'll see them. There's some weird dudes that came into that music video.
I mean, but when you have like a bunch of girls in a house and the lingerie twerking, I mean, why not? Like,
We speak no more.
We
We
speak
can't
no
say
more. We
any.
say that.
We can't say anything else now.
Well, that's a very good hint. So I'm definitely looking forward to seeing what you guys have in the works. I mean, isn't that bound to happen with all that going on, that creepy people show up?
pretty much.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
Happened in Animal House.
That's true. Very
Yeah.
true. And I did want to talk about you guys' live show as well. Obviously, you guys have performed at some, obviously, the House of Blues. We talked about a few festivals as well. Do you have a favorite song that you like to perform live?
I think for me
I think we all
personally,
do. Why don't we go around?
Yeah, for
Yeah,
me,
yeah.
it would definitely have to be Queen of the Damned because it's just like a sexy, fun anthem song. And I think a lot of people gravitate to that song. Like they listen to it a lot. There's like merch based literally on that song. So it's my personal favorite as a singer.
Good job.
I'm going to say probably the one we just recorded.
Oh, the one we don't have an official name for that. So you could just say like the non-official name.
Is it Blood Brothers? Or no?
Yeah.
Yeah, Blood Brothers. Well, unofficial title.
The unofficial name.
Unofficial title.
The new one. Yeah.
Yeah.
So one we just
Untitled.
tracked it. It's
Yeah.
untitled, but
Yeah.
that one's fun because
Yeah.
I start that one off and get the crowd going. I get the crowd going in that one. Big
The
time.
bass in your face.
Bass
Yeah.
in your face.
My personal favorite is like one that we do that's a little bit it's a little bit of a journey, but it's a song that's called like CCW for right now. It's kind of like
Another
that
unofficial.
but it's super heavy on some level, but it's also it's like a modern heavy metal version of like a Pink Floyd kind of vibe, you know, where like the song, not in the style of the music, but like the sense of like how they used to write like during Dark Side of the Moon and stuff like that. It's got a story and a journey, and it goes through different peaks and valleys, and I love music that like is surprising and doesn't always just fit some formula that, you know, you can go, oh, here comes the breakdown, or here, you know what I mean? So that's my favorite, and it's the darkest song that we have, and like I'm kind of like a dark, macabre, morose, you know, member of the band, so I like living in that headspace on stage. Yeah, that's my favorite one right now. But it changes too. I think also when we have singles that come out, like we get really excited about that song for a little bit. So we're like, yeah, this is my favorite. And then when we're tired of hearing it, we're like, move on.
So on that note, I'm going to also talk about a working title / untitled song. And that's going to be one that's named currently is Go to Black.
Oh yeah.
I really love playing that song. I do a little duet with Ryan in it, which is freaking awesome. And yeah, I don't know. I love jamming out to it. It's something I can really hit hard to and have a blast, you know?
Yeah, I would have to say Broken Lies because that's usually the one we open the
Wow.
show with. Yeah. It's you know it's
Right.
like what Ryan said. Like
It's like a
it kind of depends. Like sometimes it's Hellbent, which that's usually the one we close with and kind
Yeah.
of giving away our set. But yeah, but no. But yeah, I would say Broken Lies just because I always like to see the crowd's reaction. For, you know, to see it's like, are they gonna like us? And usually after that song, like if they're like into it, I know it's gonna be a smooth show. You know?
That is true.
And Hellbent, you know, sometimes too, because it's like there's a part in it where it's like 1, 2, 3, 4, and everybody's, you know, it's really ezy for everybody to understand, and everybody usually, you know, chants with us. So
Yep.
it's you know,
Nobody said thrill of it.
well, and that's a working one too.
Right,
Yeah.
right.
So-
But I think what's been really cool for us, regardless of what we love to play, is the audience reactions that we've seen. And we've been at a few shows where people have actually like you know sang along, and it's like it's so cool to actually hear that because, you know, as a younger band, somewhat, you know, sometimes you go and play a venue in like some city that they don't know who you are, and everyone's just staring at you. But then when you're done, it's like they're your best friend because they absolutely adored you and loved you. But during the show, they didn't know you. So, you know, and then the next time you come back, then it's a little bit more of a better reaction and interaction. But like some of the shows where we've actually, you know, you could hear people singing the choruses back. I mean, it's insane. And I'm not even the singer, you know, but like obviously it gave me goosebumps just to hear people singing like Broken Lies at House of Blues, or I think even at Welcome to Rockville, people were singing back to us on some of the songs because we had a lot of fans.
There's a video, the video that's on YouTube. The security guard at Rockville is actually singing. He's singing like every song. Like,
Yeah.
which is cool.
So I did, yeah.
I know
so-
what's it called? Louder Than Life. There's a lot of people singing back Queen of the Damned, which was pretty dope too.
Yeah.
Oh, for sure, it's really cool. As you said, you know, going into different markets and stuff that like people like actually are singing the music back to you and actually enjoy the music. I think it's an incredible experience.
No, it's definitely a moment. I think because obviously throughout the years, you know, you're gonna have like amazing highs and lows and whatnot, and you know, you hopefully play bigger and bigger venues. But I always like to say that like one of my very big moments, which you didn't ask for, but I'll just randomly drop it in there. It was when we first played House of Blues in 2019, I think. And we just released the single. It might have only been out for like 2-3 weeks. And, you know, we were a brand new baby band. And lo and behold, there was a few people that were literally singing Broken Lies. And someone has like an old cell phone video where you can hear her like screaming the lyrics. And it's a really big deal, to, you know, play House of Blues and you were only out for like maybe 2 months, 3 months prior, and then B, your first single ever, it's your first real big venue, and then people are already singing back your words. So it definitely is an experience, and it's 10 times better when like fans, you know, don't become your fans, but they become like a family and they come up to you and talk to you more and they start singing your music, and, you know, everything just meshes well.
Oh, for sure. That was one of my questions that I had was, what was your favorite moment from the band? So since we did already start going into that, for everybody else, what has been your favorite moment from the dev as well?
Yeah, for me, like it just happened at Louder in Life, and I was actually going to expand upon what she was saying, but so you know, when we did Louder in Life, it was a one-off. We didn't have anything before or after. I think we had like the weekend before there was a run of shows or something, and so we, you know, it's like a 2-day drive for us. So the second day, you know, we're getting into Louisville, and we get to the hotel after we get our passes. You know, we're kind of, when you're on the road, you're kind of ragged, you know, you're just like, I've been sitting in a van all day, you know, you got that extra energy, you're a little bit tired. So we go into the hotel, and as soon as we like walk into the hotel and we go to check in, the girl behind the counter, like, and I wasn't in there first, but eventually, like, I walked into it, was like, you guys are the dev? Wait, you're the dev and you're staying here? And like, I guess her friend was like a fan of ours.
Yep.
And so her friend had told her about us. And then she just happened to be working at the same hotel that we were like staying at. So it was kind of like that rock star moment where it's like a band from Orlando shows up to a hotel in Kentucky, and and everybody knew who we were, you know, kind of thing. So it was really, it was cool. And
we spent like 20 minutes signing things.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
People in the parking lot were coming out, like, you know, and then
I was stealing cell phones, saying hi to people I didn't even know. I'm like, hi. So they're like, oh my God.
You know, because being in a band, you get in your own little head in your world, and so you stay there sometimes, and you don't really realize like the reality of the impact or the distance that your music is getting to, you know. And obviously people can stream, you know, I can go on my Spotify for artists and see that somebody in Australia listened to my song yesterday. Cool,
Yeah.
Great. But like, I don't get to meet that person. But then when you finally, like, we were thousands of miles away, or maybe not, I don't know how far it is, but you know, yeah, like 900 or something. But you know, you get the point, and to show up and like people like know who you are, and so at that point, right? And then you start to think to yourself, man, all that struggle, all the financial whatever, you know, it's starting to work and starting to pay off because people are starting to know who you are as a band, and you're making an impact. And then on the flip side of that, when we just played House of Blues, we had a family who saw us at Louder Than Life.
That was going to be mine. Yeah.
Fly down.
Oh, damn.
Sorry, I'm ruining everybody's here, but they flew down to watch us. And then the girl, you know, she made a post the next day about how, you know, she went to come see us and that we helped her through, you know, just issues and things and hard times that she was having. And like, to me,
They actually drove. I know
yeah,
you
or they drove.
They drove.
Yeah, sorry.
Down, so
But you know, it's still like, that's what it's all about. And that's, you know, because at the end of the day, like, musicians do this selfishly. Like, we all love to play music. So yes, this is what we want to do. We do it for ourselves. But then when you hear the story of someone who's younger and music affects them, like the way it affected me, because when I was 14 and I was having hard times, music's what got me through it. Like, it wasn't my, you know, other people in life. It wasn't anything but music. And so to have that reciprocated and for me to be on the other side and pass that and be able to help somebody out, like, that's what it's all about. And it was very emotional and just great. And like, to me, those are the things I'm going to remember. Because look, we all have good days. We all have bad days. We all have good shows. We all have bad shows, you know, but it's like, those are the things that are the payoff, you know.
It's touching for sure.
And I ruined everyone's answer.
Yeah.
Well, hold on. I can add on to that. The cool thing was, for House of Blues, we had a family from Kentucky. It was a grandfather and a granddaughter come, which is like a really cool experience and like a very dope connection. We literally had people from North Carolina fly down. We had people from Georgia drive over, and people from California fly. So it's really dope to say that, you know, our first show ever at House of Blues, we had someone singing back to us. And now, instead of people just singing back to us, which they were, now people are like flying and driving to see us. And that's honestly the strength that music has to bring people together. I mean, these people will probably have never known each other or never meet each other, but I was seeing the girl from North Carolina talking to the little girl from, Kentucky who's only 14, and they were having like a well-versed conversation talking about how much they loved us as a band, how much they loved, music in general. And that is just, honest to God, the strength of music. And probably the main reason why we constantly push forward doing it is just because as much as it's a cool experience for the audience members, it is so cool for us to even see people interact amongst each other and with us.
Oh, for sure. It's that connection. Music is a connection for not only you guys to the fans to each other, that without that, you wouldn't be able to meet them. The fans wouldn't be able to meet each other. It's music that united and connected everyone.
Absolutely. I've seen people that should never be friends get along because they like the same artists. So it's totally a real thing.
For sure. Did anyone else want to add to the favorite moment, or did Ryan take everything?
I basically just screwed everyone at this point.
I was going to say,
There's gotta
one
be
of my
some
favorite.
other favorite moments. I mean, like,
That's it. That's all
somebody
we have.
partied a little too hard and got a little close with the.
My favorite
Oh,
moment
you
was
and
when we
your-
went to New Orleans.
Yeah, I was gonna say,
I got
downtown New Orleans.
Downtown New Orleans. That was an epic night of John.
Oh my
okay,
God.
Multiple epic nights.
And
of
I'll
John,
expand
I'm sure.
upon that because that was one of my favorite moments. If we want to get a little adult for a minute here, I'm not going to go into exact detail, but here's the thing. We went to New Orleans during carnival season, and it was still the masks and the vaccine passports. So we had no idea what it was going to be like, if there's going to be people out. But I've been to New Orleans before. I can't say that everyone has or hasn't in here, but it was kind of like, this is a fun experience for us to go. We had the day off. Let's go to Bourbon Street. It's world renowned.
It
It's
was
during carnival.
empty,
Right. So
weird and eerie.
it was, but we had a great time. And,
Absolutely.
And one of my favorite band moments in any band I've ever been in, and I felt like a proud dad, is we went to a strip club, right? So we go to the strip club, and
Sorry.
we're upstairs, and they pull us in because they just want us there. Like,
Yes.
Yeah, they begged for us.
Every-
off
But
the
if
street.
you've ever been
before
to
the
Bourbon
strip
Street-
club, we also got a private whole entire room for just our band to eat in. Because
right.
we're like, yo, we're a
There's just
touring
nobody
band
there.
from Florida
There's nobody
for
there.
free. So they were like, yo, just the whole entire front dining room was filled. They could have sat us at any table.
Yeah.
But like I schmoozed a little. And so we got a whole entire private room. So now we feel like big boss hogs. And like we're drinking, what are those really big grenades,
Hand
Ryan?
grenades.
Hand grenades.
I was drunk off hand grenades. And then the strip club's like, yo, come in.
But if you've ever been to Bourbon Street in New Orleans, they always try to get you to come in. There's people
Yeah.
at the door that are like, hey, yay. So they pulled us in, and we're sitting, we're there, and like, it's a strip club, man. Like, the girls are getting up, doing dances. So at one point, I think Nikolai gets them to play Queen of the Damned and gets a girl to actually dance too.
I asked for
Queen
the
of the Damned.
curviest, most tatted ass bitch there and was like, come here, you need to hear my song. I sing in a band. And she's like, oh my God, it's female fronted. And I'm like, yes, queen, it's female fronted. And then she was like, I'm going to dance to this. So she started off in the pole and then came all the way down and slammed her ass on the floor. It's like the first few
Right.
beats of the song. It was
So-
a moment. It was a moment.
Right. So what was great for me is, like, I didn't personally, like,
What's great for him is he was in a strip
I'll
club.
share this. I've been to so many strip clubs and I've toured the country. So to me, it wasn't like, you're so green, but it was great to see, because it was all four of them pretty much in our merch girl at the stage while the girls dancing. And so I had like the bird's eye view, and it was almost like that Hollywood moment where I'm watching the bands, like, just enjoying it, being rock stars, being in a moment, having a good time. And like, like I said, the road, and
Had
you
many
know
moments
this,
that night.
a lot of people know this, it's hard
John.
being on the road. It's really, really hard. Like, sometimes, like, yes, it's fun, and yes, this is what we want to do, but it can get really tough. But when you have these moments of like sheer just, this is what it's all about. Like, it looked like a true, VH1 behind the music scene. That was one of my favorites, because it was cool to see, obviously, the girl dancing to her song, but just to see everybody in the band and the crew just having a great night, throwing bills and sitting back and whatever. So
Picking up bills
And
that
that's
fell on
what-
the floor and
yeah.
tipping them with their own
And that
money.
was right before the night started divulging into debauchery.
yeah,
and
we don't go
Yeah.
past
Yeah,
that.
exactly.
That's behind the scenes.
We don't
stuff.
talk about that.
Yeah.
We've had a lot of those moments, but we don't talk about it. Just like our name.
We like to party. I mean, it's okay.
That's definitely an incredible story. I was not expecting, but I'm very happy for you guys to have that moment and experience. And I really enjoyed you guys telling me that, because that sounded really awesome.
She was so cool. She had spiderweb
Awesome.
nipples and she had a split tongue, but she was hot. That's all I have to say. I'm done now.
Well, I don't really know how to wrap that up from going from there, but 'cause I don't know what else to add to that. But as we are starting to wrap up this interview, I do got only one more thing to discuss for you guys. Since it's only February, 2023 has just started. What are the plans for the Dev for the rest of the year?
More music.
Way more music.
We're definitely recording and working on a lot of music. We have a music video that should be coming out soon, and I guess new single, new a lot of everything. So I think for 2023, we really want to make it the year of the Dev and release as much as possible. And we are doing a lot of stuff in house. And as Ryan said previously, we take concern to our music, but also like the content in general that we release. So we did a music video, or we did a photo shoot like literally a couple of days ago, and we just want to push out as much of us as possible and keep it as genuine as possible, which it's work, but we really do appreciate it and we do love doing it. So more music, more content, more everything.
Sprinkle a few shows in there, maybe a few festivals.
Yeah.
We'll see. We'll never know. But
Like Spice Bay.
yeah,
Sprinkle in there.
it's just, I think getting more content out there, like she said, is kind of our primary focus right now. And just to have more music at the end of the day and at the end of the year, and to, so people just know a little bit more about us,
I got the boys to finally do TikToks, so that's cool. That's a moment.
TikTok, yeah.
That's definitely a huge moment.
They're doing TikToks and Reels now, girls, so go and check them out.
Please do.
That's a good plug. But it sounds like you guys got a lot of great things in the works, especially just from my favorite songs question. You guys listed, 3 or 4 that are still in the works, that unofficial titles. So I'm definitely looking forward to seeing what you guys come up with for 2023.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
And if anyone's interested, where are the best places to find the Dev online?
Chris, go.
At the Dev Bands on IG, at the Dev Music on Facebook. What are we on Instagram or on TikTok?
The Dev Band.
At the Dev Band on TikTok. So yeah, either at the Dev Band or at the Dev Music. Type it into social media, you'll find us. We also have the devonline.com where you can order all of our merch and see all our socials and events and stuff. That's all there too.
Yeah, I recommend the Dev Online because everything is connected. It's interwebbed in there, and you can see what upcoming shows there are. You can check out all of our music videos right in a HubSpot.
And you can buy some rad hoodies and merch and patches.
Yeah, there's things on that online site that we don't even sell at the merch table at live concerts. So if you have everything when you see us at concerts and everything, and you want something new, probably the Dev Online is what's gonna
and vice
give it to
versa.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, and YouTube, of course.
Yeah.
Right on. I will drop some links for the Dev in the description of this podcast as well. Thank you guys so much for hanging out with me. You shared a lot of great stories. I definitely had a great time chatting with you guys.
Thank
Oh
you.
yeah,
having
that's
us.
cool, man.
Thank you.
Appreciate you having us.
Of course. For the Dev, I'm your host as always, Matthew Thomas. Thank you so much for watching and listening to Super Cool Radio. And remember, stay frosty.
Stay
Frosty.
frosty.